What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 7, Episode 6. Let's get into Michael and Angela. So because Angela is not sending Michael any money and she's not allowing him to get a regular traditional type of job, he decides to get on social media and he wants to become a social influencer so that he can start earning some money, a social media influencer, so he can start earning some money. Now, what boggles my mind is that he says Angela does not want him to work, so he's not going to get a regular job. But Angela also does not want you to have Instagram, but you're going to go and do that. It would make more sense for me if he were to get a regular job and start earning an income right away instead of going on social media. Then you have to wait until your audience grows, until companies start reaching out to you and express an interest in working with you. It would just make more sense that if he really needed money that desperately, and he makes it seem like he needs money desperately because he's constantly hounding Angela to send him $5,000 to take down the social media. So why don't you just go get a job and start earning money right away? Anyways, so I'm under the impression that he's not using the social media as a way to make money. He's basically using it, I think, just to hook up with other chicks or to communicate with other women. So Angela is going to make a surprise visit to Nigeria. She doesn't want Michael to know that she's on her way because she wants to catch him off guard so she can see whether or not he's up to no good. I don't know what she expects to catch him to do. I don't know if she expects, like, maybe if she shows up unexpectedly, she might catch him with another woman. I'm not exactly sure what she's expecting to see that's going to let her know that he's up to no good. But anyways, whatever. So she arrives in Nigeria with her friend Renee. Now her plan is to see Michael the next day, to surprise him the next day. But instead, she gets all riled up because she starts messaging Michael, telling him once again to take down his Instagram. He refuses and he responds with LOL and says that he's not going to take his Instagram down. So now this completely enrages her. So she wants to confront him right then and there while she's heated and angry and really passionate. And her friend Renee, who I don't really consider a true friend, because if she was a true friend, she would have convinced Angela to calm the hell down. We're not going to go anywhere in the middle of the night in a country that we're not very familiar with. We're going to keep our butts right here in this hotel room until the next morning. But no, Renee pumps her up and Renee actually agrees to go with her to go confront Michael. On the way to Michael's house, she's messaging him, right? And she wants to make sure that he's awake. So she's messaging him. She's calling him. Are you awake? Are you awake? And he's like, yeah, why do you want to know? So they're going back and forth. And this is like enraging her even more. And they get to the house and she climbs over the fence. It was a very short fence, so it wasn't hard for her to climb. And she just starts banging on his door, banging on his window, shouting, yelling, demanding for him to come outside. And then their friend Renee joins in on this crazy behavior. And so Renee is shouting and yelling and banging on doors and banging on windows. And because Michael is not responding and she knows that he's awake, so it's pissing her off even more that he's not coming to the door. He's not acknowledging her at all. So he starts destroying his car because whatever pamphlet she read about Nigerian marital laws, Angela seems to think that everything that he owns is hers, so she can destroy whatever she wants and not get in trouble for it because it's basically her car. So she's going berserk. Okay, she's absolutely lost her damn mind. She's taking apart his car. She's pulling stuff off of it. Renee is like yelling through a window or something, saying, Michael, you need to come out. She's destroying your car. Absolute madness. I cannot believe that these two grown women are acting like this. Now, I know that Angela has this reputation for being, really cuckoo, off kilter, just bizarre. But still, Angela, you still need to think about your health. Her going crazy like this and getting this angry and being this upset with this man, it's not good for her health. Okay, if you want to make a spectacle of yourself, fine, but not to the detriment of your own health, Angela. Because if anybody is going to stress you out like this and make you act like this and get your blood pressure going like this is not the man for you. Point blank, period. Michael is not the man for you. She expects so much from this 30-year-old man who lives on the other side of the world. She expects so much from him. And because he doesn't live up to these crazy, unrealistic expectations, she works herself up in this, frenzy and just wilds out. This doesn't make any sense. You would think that with her being as old as she is, that life would have taught her at least one or two lessons. That is the point of having the opportunity and the blessing of living as long as she. I'm not saying I don't want to make it look like she's, 105 years old. She's only in her 50s, right? But still, you would have thought that walking this earth for 50 something years, you would have picked up a lesson or two. And the one thing that you should never do is to let someone make you just go completely crazy like this. Someone who is not doing anything for you. He's not sending her money. He's not trying to get her to come start a new life in Nigeria, going through all the paperwork process, dealing with lawyers, dealing with documents, dealing with immigration. What the hell is Michael doing for you, Angela, for you to act like this? And most likely, he's up to no good. Most likely, he's communicating with females or doing whatever with females. And here you are, you've completely lost your mind. You've lost all logic. And hopefully you're right about Nigerian marital law and that nobody can call the police on you, have you arrested for disturbing the peace and for vandalism. It's just absolutely nuts. Moving on. Usman and Kim. It's Usman's birthday. So him and Kim go to the club where he's going to be celebrating his birthday. He's invited a bunch of his homeboys there, and his friend KB shows up. So when KB shows up, Kim wants to have a conversation with him one-on-one. Now, KB is the guy that they had met with the day before that was going to enlighten Kim on what a polygamous Nigerian marriage looks like, because he himself has 2 wives. And so that's when Kim completely flipped out, because KB and Usman, I guess as well, had told her that in Nigeria, a Nigerian husband has to treat his wives equally. He cannot show any type of favoritism, and one cannot be more favored than the other. So when Kim learned this is when she went crazy, and she took the milkshake and she completely doused Usman in the milkshake. So she's embarrassed about her behavior. So she's going to take this opportunity at Usman's birthday party to speak with KB one-on-one and apologize for how she acted the day before. KB was like, yeah, because it was scary. You really scared me. You had completely lost your mind. So she apologizes to KB. I'm pretty sure KB is going to keep his really good eye on her. He's going to proceed with caution when it comes to Kim and make sure that he never gets on her bad side. So then they're all sitting there celebrating, having a good time. Believe it or not, I felt like, Kim was kind of like in her element. She wasn't awkward. She wasn't, like standoffish. She was, laughing and joking and having a good time with everybody until the chick showed up. So one of Usman's female friends, she shows up for the party, and Kim is already like on high alert. So Kim makes it, she makes it a point to go talk to this woman, one-on-one. So she completely moves over to the other side to sit down next to this lady, and she wants to know if this is Usman's soon-to-be second wife. And the lady was like, no, I'm just a friend, completely platonic. I'm not interested in Usman. I'm not trying to be his second wife. So yeah, that was fine. Then the next day, I was kind of surprised that, no, I wasn't. I really wasn't, because she's extremely insecure. But I thought that Kim would have shown a little bit more tact when it came to approaching this young lady. But no, she didn't. She was like, excuse me. I'm going to go sit next to her, and I'm going to go talk to her and find out what the hell is going on here. It was just a little bit too aggressive for me. The next day, her and Usman are on their way to dinner. And I don't know what the hell Kim said, but it prompted Usman to respond with, yeah, it's because you got some yummy last night. And so she got what she wanted. We're all very happy and excited for her that she finally got what she wanted. Anyways, so they get to dinner and Kim tells him, look, I have more questions about this whole second wife situation. And Usman is like, okay, let's talk about it. So the first thing she wants to talk about are the children. She says, I'm not really comfortable with having any kind of relationship with the children that you're going to have with your second wife. And so Usman is like, well, what if I said that to you about Jamal? What if I said to you, I'm not comfortable with having a relationship with your son and I don't want to acknowledge him or interact with him? And so then Kim was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. So I guess she's gonna, if these children ever do materialize, she's going to acknowledge them. So then they talk about the fact that she does not want him to find a second wife from America because it's too close for comfort for her. Because even though Kim is slowly beginning to accept this whole second wife thing, she still doesn't want to have any like direct dealings with this second wife. And so she says, your second wife cannot come from America. You have to find her from somewhere else. And he says, no, I can find my second wife anywhere I want. And so she tells him, it's just going to be too much for me. You come into America to visit her, to visit me, and we're in the same country. It's just too much for me. And so they argue about that because he's like, I can find my second wife anywhere I want to. I'm still trying to understand, do they ever plan to live together in one country, or they're just going to do the long distance thing? He's going to have, because if he gets a second wife from Nigeria and Kim goes back to the United States, wouldn't that make her even more crazy to know that the second wife is with Usman all the time, full time? They're living together as husband and wife and having children, and she's all the way in America and can only see him once in a while. I'm not understanding what's going on. I thought it would have been good for her if the second wife was in America, because then she would know that the second wife is not with him more than she is. So like whenever he sees her, he'll go see his second wife and he'll see them probably equal amount of time. I don't know. I don't understand what kind of relationship they plan to have with one another, because they get into these constant arguments about something that hasn't happened yet, this whole second wife situation. And I don't think they've even decided on where they're going to live or how their relationship or how their marriage is going to look like. I'm so lost and confused, but maybe that just confirms or adds to the fact that this is not a real relationship, that they're just here for a check. They're just on this show for a check, that they're not in a real relationship. Because are y'all going to get married? And if you get married, where the hell are y'all going to live? Like, I don't understand. But then they want to constantly argue about the second wife situation, which hasn't even happened yet. Anyways, so then they talk about sacrifices. Who sacrificed more? Usman says that he sacrificed a lot. And she's like, how have you sacrificed? And he says, because I'm Usman, I'm Soldier Boy, and I can have any woman I want in the world, but I still choose you. And I was like, damn, Usman, that kind of sounds like a dig. And she was like, yeah, you chose me because you love me. And I'm like, Kim, do you not hear what he's saying? He's saying that he sacrificed all of these women that he could have to be with you. In other words, that's how I took it. In other words, it's like I could have been with the most beautiful women in the world, but I rejected all of them to be with you. I don't know if she was picking up what he was putting down. Moving on. Bilal and Shaida. So Bilal and Shaida, their issue is this damn baby thing. I really want to tell Shaida, girl, he doesn't want to have children. He's going to drag this on until your eggs dry up, and then you're really going to be stuck like Chuck. Please, Shaida, if having a child is a priority for you, like if it's one of the top 2 or one of the top 3 priorities in your life, you're going to have to let Bilal go and find you a man who wants to have children, because I don't really think Bilal, maybe, or unless he's pranking her like he likes to do, he's pranking her about not wanting to be a father or not wanting to have children with her. Maybe that's just one big fat prank, and then he's gonna come out like, oh, I was just kidding, let's make a baby right now. I don't know what's going on, but if Bilal is telling her the truth, Shaida, please move on. Please move on. You're wasting your good, whatever fertility that you've got left, you're wasting it away on this damn man. So they go to a fertility Clinic. And Bilal says, it's 1,000% strange that we're seeing a fertility specialist when we haven't even started trying to have a child. I agree. I totally agree. But maybe she just wants to see where her levels are at. So the doctor asks, as far as trying, where are y'all at? Like, have y'all been trying for a year, 6 months, 5 years? Where y'all at? And so Shaida says, well, we just got married. Like, we just got married. And where we are with trying to have a child is we're not trying to have a child. We're at 0. So then the doctor asks them if if they're even on the same page about having a baby. And, Bilal comes up with all of these excuses, talking about why it's not a good time right now for them to even have a child. Then the doctor asks her about her cycle. And she says that she gets her cycle every 21 days. So this is problematic to the doctor because he's like, your cycle is too short, probably, to increase the chances of getting pregnant. I think it's called the luteal phase. I think it's from the time that you ovulate to the time of your next period. It has to be like at least a certain number of days to make sure that there's time for the egg to fertilize. And her luteal phase, or, from the time that she ovulates to the time of her next cycle, is just too short to give her enough time to even get pregnant or something to that effect. So he's concerned about that, and he wants to do some blood work on her and to check her levels, to see where she's at with her fertility. The doctor says to them, well, do y'all have any more questions for me? And then Bilal says, well, it sounds like you're saying that we need to wait a couple of years. Like, when did the doctor say that, Bilal? Like, where did you hear that? When did you hear that? So the doctor says, well, definitely if y'all are not on the same page as far as having a baby, then yeah, maybe y'all need to kind of wait, talk about it, figure out what the hell y'all want to do. I mean, Bilal is he's in such a rush to get over this whole baby thing. And, he just doesn't understand. When a woman has it in her mind and in her heart and in her spirit to want to have a child, that desire is probably one of the strongest desires in the world. He'll never understand. He'll never get it. That desire to be a mom and to have a baby and to become pregnant, it's a very strong desire. And each month that goes by that you're not pregnant or that you're not, working towards getting pregnant, it's like a stab in the damn heart, So he doesn't understand. And I don't know what the hell Shahid is doing because, girl, you're running out of time. Unless he changes his mind within the next couple of months, you're really wasting your time, Shahida. You're really wasting your time. Moving on to Yara and Jovi. Yara and Jovi go for the interview for her green card. She passes with flying colors. Fine, whatever. She's going to get her green card. So now that she passed her interview, she wants to go to Europe as soon as possible. As soon as she gets her green card, she's out of there. Jovi, of course, wants her to wait. So after she passes the interview, they're going to go celebrate. She was supposed to go celebrate just her and her girlfriends, but Jovi insisted on coming along. So when they arrive, the friends were a little bit disappointed to see Jovi there. And so they start talking about her wanting to go to Europe. And Jovi's like, I just want her to be safe. And so I think that we should go together. And I want her to wait until I come back from my job before, we travel. And the friends kind of see this as him being controlling. And Yara agrees. She thinks that he's just being controlling. I don't know if this is like a sign of control or if he really just, because there's stuff going on over there and he just wants her to be safe. So I don't know why they see this as him being controlling. Is Jovi controlling? He probably is. But in this particular situation with her traveling during this tumultuous time, I don't think he's controlling. I think he really wants her to be safe. So then Yara goes to the ladies' room. And as soon as she leaves, he says, so this is where she gets her idea to go get fake boobs because all of y'all got fake boobs. And I was like, Jovi, that's awful. I mean, how are you going to tell a group of women something like that? Like, why do you feel like you're in a position to talk about these women's breasts and then blame them because your wife wants to get a boob job? I thought that was really just unclassy. So then he says to them, after he insults them, he says, I need your help. Can y'all convince Yara to not travel to Europe until I come back to work, come back from work, because I want her to be safe. And so I want her to travel with me because, I'm just worried about her. So one of the friends says, I agree that it would be safer for them to travel together, but because Jovi is so controlling, I don't know if he's coming from a space of what's best for Yara or if he's coming from a space of just trying to be controlling. Okay, let's say he is coming from a space of wanting to be controlling. Would it be so bad if she traveled to a country that's going through these very difficult times? Would it be so bad if she went there with her husband? I mean, if there was any point where it was a little bit okay for him to show his controlling ways, wouldn't it be when they're traveling to a country that's, under attack? Like, I don't understand. Anyways, I don't understand. I don't see anything wrong with Jovi. I don't see anything wrong with Yara waiting 30 days or 3 weeks or however long it is for Jovi to come back and for them to travel together. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. I understand her desperation to go see her family and to go see her mother. I get that. But I don't think waiting 3 weeks is going to make that big of a difference. Well, let me take that back. It might make a difference with where her friends are at because they're actually in that country where, the bad things are happening. But still, I mean, I don't know. If it was just if it was just her seeing her mom, then I don't think she would have to wait for Jovi because her mom is in the Czech Republic. So if it was just her seeing her mom, fine. But if she also wants to go to her home country, I feel like she should probably wait until Jovi comes back and they can travel together. Moving on to Andre and Libby. So it is finally time for Pam's 60th birthday party or birthday dinner. So everybody shows up, obviously, except for Libby and Andre. And Charlie shows up with his family and they start talking about why did the family basically, cancel Charlie. And they try to explain to Charlie that, we are worried that if we don't appease Andre, we are not going to see Libby or our niece ever again because he's got that much control over her. And so Charlie was like, oh, so you believe that Libby would let that happen, that she would allow her husband to keep her from y'all? So Charlie is basically like, y'all have chosen Andre over me. Now, the one thing that I have to agree with Charlie is when he said, we used to have family outings, family events, family parties, family get-togethers all the time, and we never had an issue until Andre showed up. Andre shows up all of a sudden, y'all want to cancel me. Y'all want to ice me out because, we get into it. Me and Andre get into it when we start drinking. So in Charlie's mind, he feels like if the point is to keep us separated, y'all never had a problem with me before. The problem began after Andre showed up. Wouldn't it make sense to cancel him and not me? And I think he has a point because things were fine until Andre showed up. Now, I don't know what it is about Charlie when he gets to drinking and he wants to start fighting Andre. I don't know what it is. And it is Charlie that instigates it. From what I had seen, Charlie instigates it a lot because he has a lot of resentment towards Andre. Okay, fine. So I felt like he kind of had a point, but then they say, we don't want him to keep Libby and our niece away from us. So the sisters kind of act like they have to appease Andre in order to keep Libby in their life. And that's really, really sad. That's really, really sad. And then in the very beginning of their segment, it showed Libby and Andre's father with their baby. They were like on a family outing. And the way Libby was talking about her family, she was kind of like, I don't know if she was saying things to make Andre happy, but she was like really like she's very critical with her family. She said that, her family is like, it's like a circus. It's just wild. She can never be heard. Nobody listens to her. And she's glad that she chose to not go to her mother's birthday party. And, she's glad that she's away from her family. And because her family is just, bad news for her. Like, they have like a negative effect on her. And I was like, damn, Libby. Oof. Okay. Moving on to Ed and Liz. I don't have much to say about Ed and Liz because I don't care about Ed and Liz that much at all. Ed and Liz, they go meet up with Liz's grandparents. Her grandparents are very important to her because they raised her and she considers them her parents. When they meet up with the grandparents, you can tell that they love her a lot. There's a lot of love there. And her grandparents are concerned over a couple of things, they want her to be happy. So if this is the man that makes her happy, they're going to support this union. But they do have their concerns. They ask Ed, are you marrying her because you really love her, or are you marrying her because she makes you feel young? And Ed says, because I really do love her. She makes me feel young, but I also really do love her. And the main reason why I'm marrying her is because I really do love her. So the grandmother is like, we don't want you to hurt her. So they're very, very protective of Liz. Later on, Ed is gone. She sends Ed away because she wants to have, dinner or lunch or whatever with just her grandparents. So they talk about the age difference. And the grandmother asks her, have you thought about the fact that there's going to come a time when you're going to have to care for him because he won't be able to care for himself? And so Liz says that she's thought about that, but what concerns her the most is losing Ed because of the age difference. She's going to lose him. And that's what she's mostly worried about. And then she also is worried about, if they get married and they have like another huge disagreement or fight or whatever, and Ed is going to want to take a break like he normally does. She says that if that happens, then that's going to be it for her. She's not going to go back to him ever again. And that's my review of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining me and spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.